Hello, everyone, and good morning, dear guests here in Graz and on Zoom. My name is Florian Windhager, and together with my colleague Eva Meyer, and in the name of a whole project consortium, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Smashing the Silos Symposium, which is dedicated to a topic dear to our heart, but also one of growing global relevance. The amount of cultural heritage information is constantly rising and growing across various domains. Numerous professions are trying to deal with it and react to it, but with visualization tools, we also have the means to strengthen our analysis and communication practices. As for our aims and for our title, we readily admit that we could have been a bit more subtle. Miriam Posner is cutting to the chase here, asking about why poor silos are getting bashed constantly. Well, we are aware that we are here actually talking about the very foundation of our work. Conveying cultural heritage information is frequently done on the shoulders of giants. We are working with projects and results of thousands of cultural heritage and digital humanities projects. And we just built on the work that has been done there. As sort of spoiled or maybe even just sensitive next generation users, which are also aware that there are other and new challenges, including the linking of data, their opening up, their provision of distant reading interfaces, high usability, historical context, and less bias. So it's this perspective that will be at the core of our symposium today. And we have assembled an array of distinguished speakers to support us, to reflect on these topics. You see, we will have a session on data modeling and harmonization at the very beginning, on collaboration between DH and cultural heritage teams and institutions. We have a panel discussion on accessibility and the role of visualization, together with a session on visualization of object and biography data in the afternoon, on visualization-based storytelling, and on the future challenges and collaborations. Just as a short note, I don't see the slides here in the front, so maybe if you can add them here to the screen, that would be great. I move on to introduce shortly the structure of each session. We try to provide you with a short input from the Intavia project that will be introduced in a minute by my colleague Eva Meyer. We have distinguished experts responding to these 15 minutes inputs with a sort of extended perspective on the same topic. And then we will be able to have a 15 minutes discussion with you, with the audience, and bring in your questions from the chat. And we will also shortly reflect on our use of the future of cultural heritage information. You see here, it was planned long ago that we will have a final conference for the European Intavia project that is in the background of this symposium. And still, we already used during the last presentations a sort of heraldic animal that just shows you we will be able to show quite some work that we have been able to do in the last 2.5 years. But obviously, it's still a bit to go. To just give you a bit of context, we are here with the Intavia project. We still have a couple of months to go, so we'll be able to just show a part of the interface and of our knowledge graph. But we also are somehow content with not being finished at all, because we will have one more final conference to offer in the end of the project. Gregor Pobesin, who is also here, will actually speak about this one later on, and it will happen in Ljubljana in September, and we hope to present you a more finished result there. Right, this is the venue that we will use during these days. You see the Shakespeare quote about history in all persons' lives, and there will be a specific Intavia workshop on day 2. So, for a bit of background on the Intavia project, I hand over to Eva Meyer.
Thank you. So what is the main idea of our project Intavia? I will want to give you a short introduction. Intavia is a project with a consortium which is across Europe, 9 partners. And the title already tells it. It's about intangible and tangible cultural heritage and how we can bring them together and visually analyze them, but also curate them and communicate them. So the main idea is that we have already many data digitized on cultural heritage in the last years, and they made their way from the libraries up there into the cloud. But the problem is, and that's why we are here, that we have got this kind of silos. So we have got tangible cultural heritage like cultural objects in databases like Europeana. But on the other side, we have also this rich contextual historical information that is in other databases. And here is a gap in between, and here's the question how we can bridge these two. So we want to throw together information on cultural objects together with cultural information on actors, biographical data, and see how we can enrich our knowledge about European culture. That is the databases that we use in the project. So we have got 4 database projects on prosopography from Finland, the Netherlands, from Austria, and from Slovenia. And on the other side, we have cultural objects which we use from Wikidata and Europeana. We want to support different user groups with our approach, so it's not only on experts, but we also want to go to casual users. We also want to go to cultural heritage institutions, have curators, museum educators. All those are target groups of our project. And so it's very heterogeneous also who we want to serve here. This is the workflow that we want to support. So we want to help people to search for cultural information. We want to support them in compiling and curating relevant information based on their interests, on their research questions. We want to have them to analyze this information and to visualize it and communicate it later on to the public, to laypersons. So that's this kind of circular approach that we have. And also when we talk to some experts in the beginning of the project, we saw that it's not a linear process, but it's very circular. So you go forth and back, as you will likely know also. So that's the project architecture, a bit much we know, but you can see here on the left-hand side, the databases. So here are the libraries which made their way into different data silos. And we want to integrate them in the knowledge graph. So that's where we are going to be in the first session. And we will make them accessible with different interfaces to different types of users in the data curation lab, a visual analytics studio, and a storytelling suite, so that we can support all these kinds of processes, and in the end, also the public and casual users. And that's it for a short overview. You are going to hear more about our project during the day, but I'll give over to Florian for an overview to the program.
So this is just the schedule again of today's symposium. You can see we are already done with the introduction, and we'll be able to start with the first session on data modeling and harmonization. Just for the breaks in between, we will have 15 minutes break at the top of the hour. Then you find coffee and refreshments here on the right-hand side. And there will be a lunch break right at the Kunsthaus Café outside, and a get-together at a restaurant nearby. For the Kunsthaus Café, you will find it just by heading in the other direction of the room here. And the get-together will be in the so-called Scherbe in the Stockergasse 2, but we will head there after the conference collectively if you're still interested to join us. That's about it. For those of us able or willing to share insights and or thoughts about this symposium, those are the hashtags that would be nice to add. Those of us who haven't found the Wi-Fi yet, it's open, it's the Kunsthaus one. There are multiple here to choose from, but this one should be available just by agreeing to the terms. And with that, it's already thanks to all our amazing speakers that made their way here to Graz or will join via Zoom. Enjoy the symposium.